Hey and welcome, msKIRAspeaks. Before we get started, I ask that you watch the videos till the end, subscribe, and turn on your notifications. My staycation is over, guys. Me and my boys, we were in those streets. We were at the water park, we were at the trampoline park, we were at the beach, we were at the movies, we were at the arcade, and now it's back to work and back to trying to get you guys some content. So we are here for another episode of the Real Housewives of Atlanta, season 14, episode 10. Guess who's coming to Blue Ridge? So as the episode opens, we see Kenya and she's with little Brooklyn and they're at like a little kiddie play place and they meet up with Candy and Blaze. Oh my goodness. Too freaking cute. Always wanted a little girl. So adorable. In her confessional, Candy says it's a blessing to see the girls playing together. For years, she rooted for Kenya and prayed for her. And now, Brooklyn is like Blaze's big sister. That has to be like a perfect full circle moment. So the little ones, they're playing and they're having popcorn while the moms are talking. And Kenya says she had a good time at Cheray's. Them drinks were strong. And Candy said she loved the laughing, funny Kenya. And I think we all did. So as they're talking, Kenya says, she has problems of her own. She's trying to save her hair care line. And she tells us again that she's having shipping problems. Completely understandable in this day and age. And they give us a flashback to her saying that, basically nothing is coming in from overseas. And then she tells Candy, like, that's the bad news. But the good news, she got offered 5,000 doors at CVS and a new line at Walmart. And Candy's like, well, how is that good news if you can't get supplied through? Candy gets it. And Kenya's like, yes, businesswoman, you're the only one that understands. So Candy, forever the friend, she's like, girl, what is it that you need? Let me know. So Kenya runs it down real quick. She's like, I need packaging, so on and so forth. But basically, she needs a local supplier because she's getting everything from China. And right now, that's a problem. But she has hired a COO. And Candy's like, oh, that's great. So you have a team. And Candy is basically talking about the importance of when you're trying to go big, you need that backing. So she's got that backing. So it's looking all good for Miss Kenya. So as they're talking and they're moving right along, Candy tells Kenya not to let the Marlo Hampton get to her. Do not let her deter you from having a good week with the rest of the girls. And Kenya was like, I was doing just that at Cheray's. I was having a good time. So we got to the end of the night and here comes Marlo deterring me from doing just that. So then Candy gets into the conversation that she had with Marlo in the bathroom about her throwing the boys out. And I'm like, oh, Candy, don't tell Kenya that, because judging by that mid-season trailer, it's about to be a problem. So Candy says she had the same situation with her cousin and it made her tear up to hear Marlo talking about throwing them out. She could never imagine. Candy says she cares more about how the boys feel. And Kenya's like, and she's further adding to their trauma. And with that, I agree. So they wrap up their conversation and they're off to play with the kids. Cute little scene. So then we get, like we normally get at the beginning of the episode, we are checking in on the girls. So we briefly see Cheray and she's on a video call talking She by Cheray joggers. They need to make some adjustments to the fit now that everybody and their mama has had a BBL. And my suggestion to Miss Cheray, go on and get you a fitness video, girl. Your body is bad. And you could do those yoga mats and those water bottles and those leggings and other merch. And that will be perfect. The She by Cheray, I don't know. It might just be time to let it go. So we pan on over to Sonia and she's having lunch with her sister Cheray. She talks about how she has a couple of upcoming trips. Marlo invited her on a trip, but she also has a trip to Florida with Ross to meet with a company called iFit. We check in on Marlo. She's doing a little packing for the trip. And then we're at Candy's house where we see her also packing for the trip. And she decides to give Marlo a call on FaceTime to let her know that Kenya will not be in attendance. So she gets Marlo on FaceTime and Marlo tells her, pack warm, bring a swimsuit in case we get in a hot tub. She tells her the trip, it's only a couple hours drive, but she just really needs to get away. Now, this is what you should have been doing, Marlo, instead of throwing those boys out. I said this before. Go to the spa, take a quick little trip for the weekend, quick little getaway. refresh, get right back to the business. That's how the real mamas do. So Kandi breaks the news to her about Kenya, and it's silence. Then after a moment, Marlo says, I think we'll be okay without her. And then they both laugh. So we see Marlo and she's at home, and it looks like she's picking up in the boys' room when her sister Crystal comes to visit. So she takes her sister into the boys' room to see just exactly how messy it is. And then she shows her sister where Michael punched a hole in the wall when she said no to something that I guess he wanted. Sounds like it was on a phone call. And the sister's like, perhaps he needs a little anger management. And Marlo's like, but the boys say I'm strict. And Crystal's like, nah, when it comes to schoolwork, you're strict. But when it comes to cleaning up, you got to get over them and make sure that they get it done. So we find out that Marlo got Crystal out of foster care at 14 or 15 years old and brought her to Atlanta to live with her. Child, I be so conflicted when it comes to Marlo, but we're going to see how I feel by the end of the episode. Marlo tells Crystal she didn't appreciate the clothes she put her in or what she told her to do, and that she didn't appreciate Marlo until she left. And that's Marlo's problem. And that's probably why Marlo thinks that since Crystal left and went with the mama and ended up coming back, it seems like, that she can run the same bullcrap with the boys. But those are young boys, totally different circumstance, totally different environment. And again, you being a foster kid, you should know better, Marlo. Like, why did you do that to these boys? And the streets are saying, because you heard recently that Marlo had a break-in, allegedly, supposedly, however you want to put it, and the boys still aren't back at Marlo's house. So like, baby girl, what is it that you're doing, really? But moving along. So Crystal says to her, you know, when you're raised in a certain environment and you're used to living a certain way, and then you go somewhere else and then you have to live under that environment, and that it can be hard to adjust. That's fair enough. So Marlo says Crystal is a good mom, and she asks her how it is having 2 more boys. And she's like, girl, it's a handful. You think? So Crystal, she walks Marlo through the goings on, and she says it's been good though, and that she doesn't mind helping out. Marlo mentions that she's going to wire her some money, which, okay, money's good, time is better. So Marlo asks if she's bad for needing a break. Marlo just wants validation from everywhere. You did what you did, and so now you have to live with it. You know it's wrong, but you want somebody to stroke you and tell you you're right, and it's okay. And you're just not going to get that. You keep fishing. Later on with the girls, she going to fish some more. Watch. So Crystal says, listen, everybody needs a break, so she gets it. But she feels like there's certain things that the boys shouldn't hear because they have feelings too. They shouldn't hear that she's tired of them and that she doesn't have to take care of them. And Marlo's like, her mouth is bad, and she gets her mouth from her mama. Yikes, Marlo. We got to work through the bad-ish and unlearn some of those toxic ways we were raised. Marlo agrees that she needs to work on her mouth and says that she misses the boys so much. Do you though? So we see Cheray, and she's in a boot. She talks about going to the store, trying on rain boots. One toe went this way, the other one, yikes, sounds painful. So Marlo talks about blinging this doggone boot out as the Rolls Royce pulls up because they're about to get in this luxury car and go off on their glamping trip. So we see Kandi and Monietta and Drew, and they show up at Candy's house because they're getting ready to go on the camping trip when they get a delivery from OLG. Then their car rolls up, and it's an Aston Martin, y'all. And they get ready to get in the car, and they about to dig into their snacks because you know the best part of a road trip is some snacks. And the lady was like, yeah, I can't eat that in there. And I was like, what the heck? And Kandi was like, yeah, what the heck? And Kandi was like, she didn't care nothing about that car. She's like, y'all want to go inside and eat before we get on the road? Oh, okay. And she leaves the lady out there to wait while they eat their wings. And I'm not mad at her. Like I said, that's the best part of the road trip. So we're supposed to sit in here smelling the food for 2 hours and not eat. And the gag is, meanwhile, now they do look like they had salads or something, but Marlo and Cheray, they're eating in their car. So I was like, what's the problem? What's going on, really? So on their way there in their car, Marlo talks to Cheray about Kenya not coming, and she wants to know how they got there. Really, Marlo? Victim looks bad on you. It's giving, throw the rock and hide your hand. So Cheray reminds her, when you called her a liar, you kind of set things into motion. So Marlo calls Candy to check in, and Candy's like, yeah, we got the wings from OLG, but why would you send us wings in a car that we can't eat them in? Make it make sense. And Marlo, she wasn't thinking. Candy in her confessional says she thinks that Kenya is coming. She just wants to make an entrance. And then production, they give us some of Kenya's most infamous entrances. So Candy asks if Fatum is coming, and the phone kind of starts breaking up, but I think Marlo does say that she couldn't make it or something like that before they hang up. And Drew, she's got a little bit of a toot about that, but girl, she's not coming, so let it go. So now Candy tells this set of ladies what's going on with Marlo, and I guess maybe because it is Marlo's trip, and Marlo did say, you know, she needed to reboot or whatever her wording was, so she tells the girls about Marlo kicking the boys out, and then we find out that, you know, Candy, she's taking somebody in, Monietta, I think they've taken somebody in, Drew, somebody from her family, so, you know, everybody's kind of been in the same boat, and Drew agrees, like, you know, we need to be her village. We'll see how that goes. So Marlo and Cheray, they arrive at the cabin first, and it is beautiful, and now that is how you go camping. They had a workout room, they had a pool, it was 2 floors, they have food laid out and all of that. So Candy, she shows up with the ladies, and they walk around and they check the place out. They're like, ooh, you know, this is nice, girl. They got food and they about to eat, and Marlo's like, I just want to have fun. So Sonya's supposed to show up after her meeting, and Marlo decides, let's play a little game for the rooms. So there are candles. Each candle has a description. You pick out the one that fits the lady's personality best, and boom, we go in order and we pick rooms. The first one was something like Young Love, Smells Like Devotion, and Delusion? I think that's what it was. And that was Kenya. Now, I didn't agree with how these candles went. Candy guessed, Candy got the best room, and so on and so forth till we got to the very last person, which was Drew, to pick her room. But all the rooms were nice. So they, like I said, they go into the rooms. All the rooms are nice. Marlo's got like gift bags laid out for them, and she tells them, but y'all gotta be ready in 15 minutes to go to dinner. So they barely even get to wash up, have a whole bath, or whatever else Marlo says before they gotta jump into the Sprinter and head on over to the restaurant for dinner. So we see everybody in the Sprinter, and they're checking in with their loved ones, and then Drew kind of asks, you know, well, what's going on? And Marlo's like, listen, I needed a break, and I am not ashamed of it. In her confessional, Marlo says she needed a break and she wants to be the best that she can for the boys. Candy asks her how long she plans to do this, and Marlo's like, you know, I'm going to try to survive 30 days. You want to leave them for 30 days? Candy says. Drew's like, that's a long time. Candy reveals, but doesn't just have to live in a 2-bedroom apartment? And Candy did say that in her last speak on it. And then Marlo said something about she just moved into a 3-bedroom. I don't know if she's bullshitting or what. And then she says, but you know, that's how we grew up. But Marlo, we trying to do better, boo. What you mean? That's how you grew up. So you want the kids all smushed in? And does the sister have a significant other or not? Because it's giving single mother, but I could be wrong. But if she's not, now you're talking 4, 6, 8 people in a 3-bedroom. Come on, Marlo. In her confessional, Cheray says she knows all about being a single mom. She raised 3 kids on her own, and she knows how hard it could be, especially jumping in when you've never been a mom before. She says that she knows that Marlo loves her nephews and that she wants to be there for them, but you know, the whole thing just kind of came out of nowhere, and Marlo's like, you know, she just doesn't want to fail the kids, but that's what you're doing now. Giving up on them, in essence, is failing them. You gotta stick it out. These boys be driving me crazy. Trust and believe, but I will not give them to nobody. No, I would never let them feel like that. And I'm from a 2-parent household. My kids, they ain't never been with nobody but me. Not in a living type situation. It's just, I'm about to go on a rant. Let me get back to the show. So the ladies, they arrive at the restaurant and they have a couple of drinks and chat before they order their food. And Marlo's like, I want to see Candy drunk like how Kenya was the other day. And I'd like to see it too, but we know that's never going to happen. But I don't think Candy would be allowed drunk. For some reason, I think Candy would still be reserved. But Candy's like, I've tasted liquor, but I've never been drunk. And you're never going to see me drunk. You get 1 candy. You're not about to get 2 different candies. 1 and done. So Drew hopes that when Sonya gets there that the good vibes continue, and she brings up the comment that Sonya made about them being busy, and she just runs down the whole thing, how she don't have a problem with Sonya. Sonya has a problem with her, and honestly, Drew wasn't wrong. So meanwhile, Kandi gets a text from Kenya, and Kenya's asking if anybody's asking for her. Candy's like, yeah, no, but I'm excited that you're here. So she goes outside to get Kenya, and you know it's about to go down. So Kenya in her confessional says she drove up to Blue Ridge all by herself. She didn't want to let the ladies down. She had the itinerary, so she decided she'd drive up and pop on in. So everyone is happy to see Kenya, and Cheray gives her a hug, and they're like, oh, Kenya, we're so glad you're here. Everybody except Marlo. Marlo has a look on her face, child, but she pulls it together and she's like, thanks for coming, Kenya. You look beautiful. So they have shots, and Kenya jumps right in. In her confessional, Marlo is upset that Kandi knew that Kenya was coming and didn't say anything. So we back to the Kandi campaign all over again. Yikes. But Marlo says she plans to keep her composure. And child, I hope so. So they tell Kenya how nice the house is, and they ask her if she's staying, and she's like, oh, I don't know. I got a house not too far away because, Brooklyn's coming. They're like, Brooklyn's coming? Well, where's Brooklyn? Child, a whole conversation about Miss Brooklyn. So Marlo says the house is huge and Brooklyn is more than welcome to come, and everybody wants to know, where's Brooklyn? So they all address it, individually in their confessionals, but we really don't care. Like I said, it was a whole big thing about Brooklyn because Kenya said Kandi made a big deal about it when they was in that house on that bolo trip, and I don't even want to get into that, so move right along. So Kandi says since Brooklyn isn't there, she could just, stay the night at the house. And Drew's talking about what a good time she had at Cheray's, and Candy's like, your good time is about to be over as soon as Sonya gets here. Kandi, why do that to that girl? So as they're talking, here comes Sonya, because production, they're on their job. So Kenya asks her where she was, and she fills them in about the whole thing and iFit and blah, blah, blah. And then she's like, oh, but guess what, guys? They're rolling out the red carpet. I'm taking you guys with me all to Jamaica. Oh, everybody's like, yeah, oh, what? Drew, you better watch out because you're quick to get uninvited. So like I said, everybody cheers, and Sonya lets them know it is a couples trip. And Kenya asks Drew, you going to be on your best behavior? And Drew's like, what you mean? I'm always on my best behavior. So Marlo's like, I'm enjoying you ladies in Kenya. I'm glad that you decided to show up. So will you be staying at the house? Kenya's like, I don't know. I'll let you know. Well, when are you going to let me know? I'll let you know when I know. So Marlo tells her if she is not going to stay at the house, she doesn't want her to attend any of the events. And we get a major eye roll from Kenya. And I kind of was with her on that one because Marlo, you can't. Moving along. So we get again. She planned the trip for them. She'd love Kenya to stay at the house. Brooklyn is more than welcome, but if you're not staying, you can't hang out with us. You can't sit with us. So Kenya asked the ladies if they agree, and Candy's like, I want you to stay at the house. And Cheray wants her to stay too, and she's like, girl, we're gonna have a good time. It's gonna be so much fun. So Kenya starts to discuss her issue with Marlo and give her a very clean read. Marlo says she loves people, but she doesn't know how, and she's really the one that's hurt. And Marlo's like, you're right, I'm super hurt. But Kenya, she wants just a minute to explain herself. But Marlo, she keeps talking over her, and everybody's trying to get Marlo to shut up because she's really giving us that Drew like just running all over her, talking over her, and Kenya's like, she's gonna let me finish or no? So they finally get Marlo to zip them lips long enough for Kenya to explain what she's got to say. Kenya feels like everything about her is insincere. She talks about wanting to be friends when she's the worst friend here. You're not a friend. You don't know how to be a friend. You don't know how to love. So if that's the love that you say you have for me, I don't want it. It's not a healthy love. It's toxic. So Kenya starts to talk about how Marlo has been calling her a liar. She called her a liar when she was pregnant with her baby, and she forgave her, and she started anew. And I think production ran down some footage of all the various times that she's called Kenya a liar. So even though this one, she called her a liar about something small, I guess Kenya felt triggered and she was like, she's done. She's not having it no more. So basically Kenya tells her, no, you don't get any more chances from me because it's just all BS. And Marlo's like, I'm sorry you feel that way. Marlo says what she's upset about is her saying that she wasn't sick, and Marlo still feels that way. If you're my friend, why can't I tell you how I feel? Marlo says she's hurt. She has trust issues. She's effed up, just like Kenya. We both have attention issues. We both have insecurities. So Marlo, she runs down her insecurities and the things that she's going through. And Marlo's like, Kenya, you should take the lead. You know, you're an intelligent queen and all this. And it's just giving frenemy. And she wraps it up with, if they can't love each other, at least they can respect each other. Child, I guess. So in her confessional, Marlo basically says again that if Kenya can't follow her rules, then Kenya needs to go. Marlo says she just wants to have fun for the next 72 hours, and Kenya says she doesn't hate her, she just dislikes the things she does. And they overtalk each other. Kenya gets quiet. It's awkward for everyone, and that is where we end. What did you guys think of the episode? Please drop your thoughts down in the comment section. I think we turned down a little bit for this episode, but it looks like next episode we finna turn right back up. But anywho, if you've made it this far, put the mountain emoji down in the comments for this girls trip. I hope you'll come back and join me for my review or recap of episode 12. While you're here, please check out some of my other content. Thank you, thank you. And before you go, like, subscribe, and share. I appreciate you. Peace.